Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube.
There are three reasons why the civil society community rejects in totality the appointment or nomination of Lauretta Onochie as a national commissioner of INEC by the president. One, it's an effort to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Secondly, it's an effort to protect the independence and the neutrality of INEC. And the third reason is to defend our democracy. To the first reason on protecting our Constitution, it's just unfortunate that we're having this conversation about the sanctity of the Constitution in a time when Nigeria is celebrating 22 years of constitutional democracy. The Constitution is very, very clear as to the qualifications for someone who should be appointed into INEC. And Section 156 is very clear to the effect that it points that anyone who is a member of a political party should not be appointed into the Independent Electoral Commission, because the electoral umpire, INEC, is guided by core principles of election management. And one of them is neutrality, the second is integrity, and then transparency. There are about 8 cardinal principles for election management, and this appointment falls short. And why? Because Lauretta Onochie's antecedents, it's clear, it's there in public domain, that beyond being an aide of the president, she is a member of the APC who was visibly involved in the campaign for a candidate and campaign for the APC, in the last general election, and still continues, to promote the political party. I think not just in the interest of morality, I think it is legally wrong for the president to have gone ahead, to appoint her or nominate her as a national commissioner of INEC. The second point that we also raised was about the fact that this is an individual, who was also very involved in politics in the UK. In 2010, she contested for councillorship at her county, Dagenham and Thames, and she lost with about 322 votes. And for someone who is visibly involved, in elections in the UK, to be appointed into INEC as a national commissioner raises fundamental questions about, dual loyalty. Yes, she holds a dual citizenship, although there's a position of the court on whether people holders of dual citizenship can hold office. But I think there's a fundamental point about protecting the independence of INEC, that if you have an individual in the person of Lauretta, the independence of INEC will be threatened. And in a time when we are struggling, to protect the independence of the institution and win the confidence of Nigerians and voters, I think that it was improper for the president to have gone ahead to nominate Lauretta. And we hope that the Senate, would reject this nomination in the interest of our protecting our constitution, protecting the independence of INEC, and saving our electoral democracy. And we've said this, that appointing Lauretta into INEC is a dangerous move by the current president.
All right, let's have Bamidele Salam, who is, of course, a member of the House of Reps, also weighing on this issue as well. Bamidele, should the Senate President the Senate President, was he right to have committed the name in the first place to the Committee on INEC for review? Should he have rejected the name ab initio?
Okay, thank you very much. I listened to the position of my friend Samson, and I want to start off by saying I adopt almost everything that he said on the reasons why Lauretta is fundamentally disqualified and unfit to occupy a position of a commissioner in the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, to the issue of whether the Senate President ought to have sent that name to the committee, you are aware that by virtue of the Nigerian Constitution, there are procedure for nomination and rejection of nominations by the National Assembly. The Constitution gives the President the powers to make that nomination after due consultation with the Council of State. In this instance, there is no evidence whatsoever that that precondition was met by the President to even set in the nomination. But then the President of the Senate also has no discretion in this matter. The discretion is that of the Senate as a body deciding in plenary. So the proper thing for the Senate President to have done was what he has done, that is to send all nominations to the appropriate committees of the Senate in accordance with our rules in the National Assembly. Now, this is where the responsibility of the public now comes in, especially the civil society. And I must really commend the 10 CSOs that have come together to put up this petition against the nomination of Lauretta Onochie to the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters that is considering this nomination. Now, we are a country that should know the difference between personal interest and national interest. The President swore to an oath of office, an oath of allegiance to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And from all indications, sections 153, 154, 156 of the Nigerian Constitution and section 14.1 of the third schedule clearly stipulate conditions that anyone who wants to occupy a position as a member of the National Electoral Commission must satisfy. The President or whoever advises him has clearly violated the intent, the spirit, and the clear provisions of the Constitution to even forward that nomination in the first instance. Now, it is now left for the National Assembly, in this case the Senate, which has the powers to confirm the nomination, to put into consideration all the facts before it. And we should not be surprised. Just last year, around November, there was somebody from my own state, Osun State, was nominated as an INEC, commissioner to the Senate. And the Senate, claimed to have had a petition, even though we believe that time that there were a lot of politics involved in all that happened, to the effect that this particular individual was a member of a political movement that is in alliance with the All Progressive Congress. And because of that, his nomination was dropped. So there is a precedent. And I will expect that the Senate committee, in this instance, will critically consider all the issues contained in the petition, and in every other, petition, submitted to it, as well as the general outcry of the public as to the reasons why we must safeguard our electoral institution. There is no democracy that thrives where the institution or the body that's meant to organize elections, that's meant to be an unbiased umpire, is compromised from the face of it. An appointment of this nature of a person who is the president's aide, a person who has been politically manifested interest in the ruling political party, a person who has been found, to lack integrity, a person who has been proven to have told, gargantuan lies on the social media in furtherance of a political purpose, must be seen to be sitting on the board of a body that is meant to conduct election. We should be growing as a nation, as a democracy, after 22 years of democratic rule, and not to be seen to be going back. So those who advise the president to even submit the name, or if he advise himself, are doing a lot of injustice, to the democratic credential of the president, to the democratic credential of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to the institution that is meant to protect this democracy, which anyone can leverage on to occupy a political office. But then, like I said, the Senate President couldn't have rejected it on his own. It is the Senate in plenary that has that power. Even the committee of the Senate that this matter has been referred to has no such power. They will only make recommendation to the Senate in plenary to consider their recommendations. And I will expect that the Senate, the distinguished members of the Senate who have also sworn an oath of office to protect our Constitution, will do the right thing and be courageous enough to reject this nomination in the interest of our democratic credentials.
All right, Honorable, let me start with you. In the event that the Senate committee makes a recommendation, a positive recommendation for Lauretta Onochie. What follows afterwards?
Well, it is very clear that such a recommendation or decision by the Senate will be ultra vires the Constitution of Nigeria. And I will expect that those Nigerians who are very concerned about this matter will approach the court of law to get the court to quash that nomination. That is the beauty of democracy. No arm of government has a monopoly of powers. The court has the powers to review every action of both the legislative and the executive arm of government. And I will expect that in the unlikely event that the Senate haven't apprised itself of all these facts before it, and the clear provisions of the Nigerian Constitution goes ahead to confirm this nomination, I will expect that the court of law will be called upon to adjudicate on this matter, and I will want to believe that our court will maintain, its stand as a credible arbiter and interpret the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution appropriately to nullify such an appointment made by the president into the Independent National Electoral Commission.
All right, Samson, let's get your view, because from what my colleague asked, we've had precedents as well in the past where even after screening of a candidate that is nominated by the president and the Senate says, no, this person should not be allowed to be in this office, the president didn't budge and the person stayed in the office. You know who I'm talking about. So some people like that in the past. We talk about even the boss, the former boss of the EFCC as well. So looking at this issue now, with all the public outcry, and don't forget as well that even in 2020, when Lauretta Onochie's name came up, civil society groups kicked against the name, and it went down. All of a sudden, it's come up again. So, if after all this agitation, and even after the Senate committee says, no, this person is not fit, and the president says, I want him there, is there anything else anybody can do?
Well, I think the honourable member has stated what will be the action that will be taken. We have our petition signed by 11 CSOs, and quite established and recognized CSOs have appended their signature to this petition. This petition was submitted last week. We expect that when the Senate resumes next week, the committee will consider this petition, and because the 14-page petition contains evidence, incontrovertible evidence, to point and establish the fact that Lauretta Onochie is legally unqualified, is morally unqualified, to hold office in INEC. So I'd expect that the committee would consider these facts, and if it goes ahead, to recommend that Lauretta should be confirmed as a commissioner in INEC, it means the distinguished senators who are in that committee can no longer be considered distinguished because they would have, turn a blind eye to an aberration of the Constitution, which they all swore to protect. Because we made this point, and we need to emphasize that, rejecting Lauretta Onochie is an effort to protect the Constitution, because it's clear under section 154, 156, and paragraph 14 of the third schedule on the criteria for appointment into INEC. So if they proceed, it means they are violating the Constitution, and there's a consequence, for violating the Constitution. The second point, it will be insensitive for it, to proceed to confirm Lauretta Onochie, because what the message they are sending, not just to Nigeria, to the world, is forget about the integrity of the 2023 general elections, because there's no way you can't speak about the integrity of the 2023 election if you have a caliber of person like Lauretta on INEC as a national commissioner, but also other national commissioners that were appointed. There's something fundamentally wrong about the appointments that were made into INEC. It's either people who have integrity issues are being appointed into the Electoral Commission, or people who, you know, are way too old, you know, to hold that office of INEC. But as a civil society community, we are very committed to this. We are going to avail ourselves when the Senate invites us to defend the petition. If they do, if they proceed, we will proceed to the court, because judicial review is a cornerstone of democracy. And we're going to proceed to the court and ask the court to review this decision by this government, by the National Assembly. And I just like the Honorable said, honestly, I align my faith and confidence with him that the judiciary will stand up at this critical moment of our democracy to defend the Constitution. This is an attempt and an effort to defend the Constitution. And I hope that even members of the APC who care about this country, anyone who loves Nigeria and anyone who loves, you know, our electoral democracy and our institution will not in any way approve or even endorse this action by the executive. Right. I think it is improper to do so.
All right, Samson. Let's quickly hear the thoughts of Honorable Bamidele Salam as we round off. Honorable, I mean, this is coming at the time, the president's nomination of Lauretta Onochie is coming at the time. Nigerians are just smarting from the earlier controversy surrounding Amina Zakari, who was alleged to be a relative of the president, and so much controversy around that subject matter until, of course, she's no longer in INEC for now. For the president to take this further step again, which challenges the integrity of INEC, what does it say about the president himself as far as ensuring that the independence in INEC is actually guaranteed?
Excellent question. Now, because I've been wondering why the Nigerian president, the leader of Africa's most populous country, a man who presides over the destiny of over 200 million citizens, will continue to portray us as a country that lacks men and women of honor, of integrity, of capacity in every area. Now, we have had presidents before. I remember during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, there was a nomination, a ministerial nomination, whose nomination had been sent to the Senate for confirmation, who was actually awaiting confirmation of the Senate. But there were petitions from everywhere, you know, alleging that the person had been a suspect in a particular case, even though he was not, he was not tried or found guilty. The president, on his honor, withdrew that nomination. Now, this president has the propensity to always push forward the weakest of our links, and I don't know why he does that. You just made a reference to the issue of the former, EFCC boss, a man who was indicted even by the department in the presidency, the DSS, is an arm of the presidency, indicted him in a report. The office of the Attorney General wrote a confidential report against the former, EFCC chair. Yet the president stuck to his gun and submitted his name for confirmation. Now, eventually, issues came up, and it became apparent that that man was the wrong man to have been so said. The same thing we had in minister just recently, and questions were being asked whether due diligence was done on finding out the background of the minister who had been alleged, to have links with terrorist organizations, who had made radical views that have the capability of setting people of different faith against each other in this country.
All right.
Now, I don't think the president should continue to toe this line of making Nigeria appear like a country that does not have enough men and women of integrity, of capacity, of intellectual resourcefulness to occupy critical offices. And you must remember that the Independent National Electoral Commission is a body that will outlive any political party.
All right.
Indeed, the president is committed to strengthen our democracy, I think he must listen to the voice of reason.
All right.
And the most honorable thing for him to do at this moment is to withdraw that nomination even before it gets, to the stage of consideration.
Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.